When did you fall in love with tech?
I fell in love with tech my freshman year of college when I had the only laptop on the whole entire campus.
On the whole entire campus?
I felt like teched out. It was 1994, so I'm dating myself, but yes.
It's okay.
1994. I just was like, I'm like popular because I got a laptop. And I had a printer and speakers too. So when it came to like beatboxing and the chords,
You
the
were
rap,
killing it.
I had my own speakers.
Killing it.
And a color printer. I was printing stuff out in class, making all kinds of distractions.
You were doing all kind of favors.
Yes, absolutely. But that was the man, and I love how tech made me feel.
Okay.
And I felt so. I didn't have internet Wi-Fi at the time, but they had something called Encyclopedia, not Britannica, but it was like this Microsoft Encyclopedia.
With the CD-ROM?
Yes. So I could answer questions that nobody else could answer. I felt like a robot.
Because you had the laptop.
Exactly, advantage.
Exactly. Since you fell in love with tech because you had a laptop, what do you do now in tech and innovation?
Well, now I actually give laptops away.
Okay.
Okay, I want people to feel the same feeling I felt. We've given away over 10,000 computers and technology to churches, community groups, schools, and programs, working with the federal government, GSA, Government Surplus Administration, through a program called Computers for Learning. That's one thing we do. We also do another event called Computers for Guns, where we give laptops away for firearms to combat the idea of violence. We call it Stop Shooting, Start Coding.
Stop Shooting, Start Coding.
Yes, absolutely. And what we do every day, besides these events, is that we do cybersecurity training, as well as cybersecurity certifications and testing for employment and GEDs.
Stop Shooting, Start Coding. Tell me a little about that.
Okay, well, one day I was just thinking and praying to God, and I was like, how do we take their guns out of their hands and put computers in their hands? And so I just woke up in the morning, and I was like, that's it. Computers for guns. We're going to give them computers and take their guns away. But not just to take them away, but we're going to give them training too. And so I didn't know if it was going to work. And so when I did it and I woke up the next morning and the NRA had me on the cover of their website, I knew I had did something.
Okay.
So I got, my mama called me and was like, hey, you on the news and everything? And it started to go viral, and I looked the way it went viral, like in Topeka, Kansas, and Sweetwater, Texas. It's like, why am I going viral in all these little places? And then the NRA thing came up. And it was off in Spain, Germany, England. So that really became something, and we've done it for 3 years after that. My dream is to do it in all major cities to challenge the status quo.
Interesting. So I'm going to throw a little bit of a jab at you. Are you a cocktail or a beer person?
I am a Jack Daniels with no ice, straight up, warm. And if you do it any other way, I don't know why you're drinking.
Really?
That's what's up.
So what got you into Jack?
Well, I like to dance.
Okay.
So after about four shots of Jack Daniels,
you on the floor.
It's on. You ain't never seen nothing like it. I'm wiggly, wiggly, wobbly, wobbly.
That is right. If your business life was based on a movie or a TV show, what would it be?
It would be a combination of Mr. Robot.
I love that show.
And Welcome Back, Carter. There's a throwback.
So talk about that. How does that pair? What's the combo?
I always consider myself an old school teacher from Baltimore that happens to be into business. But I teach people how to hack. I teach hackers. So it's kind of like the combination of the modern day denial of service, pop-up adware kind of ransomware mentality of the modern day. But I do it with love, not to be ominous or threatening. It's to teach kids how to do, or young people, anybody, how to do this for a job. To train white hat hackers and people to do it legally to defend that network, supposed to tear them down. So that's where the, Welcome Back, Carter, doing it for the love, but learning something malicious to protect us from malicious things.
Right, mixed with Mr. Robot. No, that's a fantastic show. Who's your favorite character on Mr. Robot?
Mr. Robot, to be very honest with you, it's not the main character who is like the main hacker. It's the dead dad that doesn't actually exist. Christian Slater. I love him in this because he is insane.
He is absolutely insane.
So it's not, you can't even call him as a character. He's almost like just an aberration. Yes. And I love that whoever wrote that I've never seen a show that has integrated a figment of somebody's imagination as a main character.
So well into the script.
And knowing this person is seriously sick, but somehow we begin to rationalize in our mind that he is probably there.
Right. Because it's almost like the Sixth Sense, how you didn't quite know until you knew, and then you like,
exactly.
Y'all got me.
Exactly. We love it.
Y'all got me. Going back to your business side, what do you feel is one of the biggest challenges or struggles you are currently dealing with?
To be honest, coming from a not-for-profit side and recently starting a for-profit company,
Okay.
I do know how to get funding. I realized being the president of the Chamber of Commerce in Baltimore for a while, but the uncomfortability of asking people for money. Mm-hmm. It's an uncomfortable feeling, and it's.
Why is it uncomfortable? What do you think?
I
can
don't
give you my answer.
I don't want to be any kind of or anything like that, but it's a couple things that I think being a black man and asking people for stuff, feeling as though sometimes that people don't give you what you've earned, so let alone asking somebody for something.
Yeah. There's some pride there, there's some denial, there's some neglect.
And the fear of being turned down.
Exactly.
And like I'm gonna tell you my worst feeling I've ever felt in my whole entire life.
Okay.
It's when I was younger and I used to go to a car dealership, and I go to 3 or 4 of them.
Okay.
And then you got the car dealership guy that probably earned $15 an hour telling you about, well, if you pay your bills on time, and if you pay this bill, and they rating you, and you sitting there like, dude, I got a college degree, a master's degree, and you sitting there telling me making $15 an hour what I need to do. I hate getting judged. So when you ask somebody for something, you're open yourself up for them to tell you how your lifestyle needs to be to get with them.
Right.
Like they know you or something like that. And I don't like that feeling. I don't like that.
No, you're definitely vulnerable, and it puts you in a position to, like you said, to be judged and to be denied, and then to deal with that emotion.
Who they gonna tell? You don't know if they're gonna tell somebody for real.
Right.
Oh, this is confidential. Yeah, right. They were telling everybody he broke, y'all. You know, you
that
know his
side,
credit.
That water cooler
on his credit. Oh my God, you wouldn't believe this. You thought he was balling, he broke. You know what I'm saying? That's some real stuff right there.
No, it is, and it's a lot to deal with. That headspace, for sure, for sure. On a technical side, tell us a little bit more about your journey and your career.
I started as a Baltimore City school teacher in the middle school.
Okay.
And then I kind of moved on, found out about certifications can move kids to a better place quicker. One of my schools I taught at 30% of my kids lived in group homes. So how can I tell a kid what to do when they don't even have real people raising them at the house?
Exactly.
So I realized that somebody like Jay-Z or Diddy could come in and influence them more than what I could do dealing with them every day. So I wanted to make technology cool. So then I went on a mission and I couldn't get close to the students because the administration would say you can't do it. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna put my own program to work with kids, and I'm gonna make technology cool. Yeah. And my mission is to make technology so cool that it can compete with the streets.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, my mission is not to be this big tech god. My mission is to stop the killings of black males in urban United States of America. And if technology is what I have to use to do it, then that's something I'm gonna use. If I can do cotton candy factories and stop it, then I'll make a lot of cotton candy factories.
By any means necessary,
By any means necessary. Marcus, Malcolm, and Marvin.
That's right. Going back to what you were sort of talking about, we often have conversations about sort of how we position ourselves as being entrepreneurs and techies, and showing kids that this path is a viable path and it's a lucrative path. So what have you sort of dealt with? How do you combat that? What do you bring to the table to sort of introduce that idea to kids?
Well, we had something in Baltimore I call clearing corners.
Okay.
Which I have a lot of former drug dealers currently working in technology right now.
Really?
And the way that we do that...
How'd you do that conversion?
It's very simple. I walk into the room, and I open up a computer. I say, I'm gonna show y'all how to make $350 in 15 seconds. And they be like, Mr. Lucas, you lying. I'm like, no, $350 in 15 seconds. And they be like, okay, show me. I open a computer. I take out the RAM. I put it on the table, which is a small chip.
Right.
I put the RAM back into the computer, and I say, that's $350. They're like, nuh-uh. And I'm like, go to Best Buy. It's $125 to look at it. It's $80 for the RAM, and it's $125 to put that RAM back in your computer. Because if I'm gonna ask you to stop selling drugs or doing crime, I gotta offer an alternative source of income that's gonna come in immediate. I can't wait 4 years to get money. I can't wait 6 months to get money. If I'm gonna stop hustling, and we got that, we teaching people how to fix cell phones. That's $150 a phone. Fix tablets. That's $150 a tablets, and that's instantaneous income, and it's entrepreneurship. So when we try to tell somebody to stop doing something negative to make money, you got to give them something positive to make money. And a product is your mind, and you never run out of that source of product.
Exactly. Your genius response to 2 words: diversity and inclusion.
Diversity and inclusion. Imaginary skepticism.
You got to go into detail on that. What's that about?
Because these days it seems like when you discriminate against African Americans and it's not legal, You can give them your lunch money for a year as a company, say I'm sorry, create a program, and all is forgiven. I'm not into that. You know what I'm into? I don't need your lunch money. You know what? I want us to stop trying to be equal.
Okay.
I don't want to be equal.
Yeah.
I want to be me.
Yeah.
I want us to be us. I want us to be Benjamin Banneker. I want us to be Carter G. Woodson. So I don't see equality as a better position. I don't see inclusion as a better position. I see individuality and full expression of one's ability as what I seek.
Are you familiar with Professor James Small?
Not at all, but you can talk about it.
Well, I was actually watching an interview with him today, and he was talking about exactly what you're talking about. There's a movie coming out called Happy, and it's named after the Nile River, which is Happy is what it's called in the Kemetic language. And he was sort of talking about that idea of getting to a position where you no longer look for handouts, where you want to create the opportunities, you want to sort of have those vessels of income, and you know, you being in the position to be the authority to create the life that you want.
Yeah, because inclusion insinuates some type of permissiveness.
Right.
Like, I want to, guess what? You don't want me there? Guess what, homie? I don't want you to be there.
Right. It's
I will
always
make
looking and seeking to be accepted.
I don't want to be.
Right.
Listen,
Yeah.
somewhere along the way,
Yeah.
somebody pulled this word move on us, and words mean something. And here's learning. Learning is a word, break it down, it means knowledge obtained to change one's behavior. So you can know stuff all day long. If you do not change your behavior, you never actually learned it. And it's something that's internal that cannot be an external event.
Right.
So when we say inclusion, that somehow you gonna help me learn how to be cool with you,
Right.
I don't need to learn that.
It's almost a modern day, 21st century spin on integration.
Yeah, it's a spell. And then we saw all how that worked out.
Exactly.
Didn't work out too well, did it?
No.
We have just as many African Americans incarcerated today than at the height of slavery. And just because you free, does that mean we free? Let me say it again. Just because you free, and you can drive a car and you can get an apartment, does that mean that we free? I'm sure the largest slave owner that was an African American in 1865, Mr. William Ellis, thought that he was free too, and thought that one day we could all own slaves. But just because he was free, did it mean we's free?
Right.
So I don't believe we're free.
Yeah.
I believe that we're incarcerated at a rate that we're still in a form of enslavement, and just because you change the name, it don't make it the same thing.
Exactly. Precisely. No, that's a good answer. And going back to sort of that, let's talk a little bit about, because we're tapping into race a little bit. What sort of at play do you feel in terms of what's happening now in our current sort of political scene?
I look at it in a weird kind of way because I think that people are afraid of 2040. People are afraid of the integration and the coming of something that's going to be destined regardless. And in their fear to prevent something that's going to happen eventually and trying to make a choice to stop it, they've accelerated it because nobody's looking for anything anymore. And it's forcing people to come together. There's a theory in politics called no alarms and no surprises, invented in England, also the name of my favorite song by Radiohead. Okay. And the way to control the people is to keep them docile, fed, high, complacent. But when you take away their gimmies and when you make them afraid, people uprise. Yep. People connect, and that's not how you learn control of people. So the exact opposite effect of what they think that it was going to do is going to happen. It's going to accelerate the coming together of the people. And that's what is happening, and that's what will happen.
Yeah. I got a question for you. The world is yours. Come with me on a journey. You get to choose one member that would invest into you for a year. Who is it?
Dead or alive.
World is yours.
Marcus Garvey.
Why?
Because he's the one they didn't kill. Because he had his own economics. He had his own boat. They had to exile the brother because he was so bad they couldn't get at him. So that's the one I would be. Yeah. I would choose because I would like to learn. Malcolm and Martin and Marcus had three things that they all believed in: education, jobs, and economic development. We got something in jobs. We even got something in education. But we never mastered that economic development piece, seeing as though that the richest African Americans in this country are entertainers.
Right. Yeah.
When you have a company like Nest Labs that's 700 days old, they got $3.1 billion, and Oprah and Michael Jordan worked their entire lives, and Bob Johnson, in entertainment, and they don't have as much money as a majority race company that's only 700 days old. They got us bouncing balls and making music and entertaining while they over here in 700 days making a whole lifetimes full of money.
Yeah.
You still got Jay-Z, Diddy, and Dre trying to fight to be billionaires when these guys in 700 days is making $3.1 billion. You can add them all up together and they still ain't made as much as these guys made in 700 days. And all they got is an app that you can control the temperature in your house with an app. And you don't know their names. Nobody here knows their names.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Oprah. Everybody knows Jordan. No one knows Nest Labs.
Yeah. And it's everything that, it goes back to the Internet of Things, sort of connecting everything and being in that space. And yeah, it's the future. How do we get our kids into that?
I think that we have to stop underestimating the ability of our young people. I mean, our young people are driving technology right now.
Yeah.
Our young people are being monitored by the top tech companies to tell where to go next. We need to peak the same genius in our children that these big tech companies do. Stop underestimating their value and challenge them with hard, quote unquote, hard quantum physics in elementary school.
Exactly.
Bulbs, churn, the God particle in middle school.
Yes. Get them back to their genius.
Exactly. And then also begin to teach something that's not taught, creativity and imagination. These things are not taught.
Right.
And also character. Teach character, ethics. When you go to work for Wall Street, they make you take ethics classes. When you go to work for a congressman or go to Congress, they teach you ethics classes. If it's good for our congressmen, if it's good for our stockbrokers, our leaders in finance, it's good enough for our children to be educated on ethics, creativity, imagination, and financial literacy. These are the 4 things that we can teach our children, and we can revolutionize the way that we think in our urban areas. And none of these things are taught. Financial literacy is not a mandatory class.
Right. Yeah.
Okay? Creativity and imagination, you won't even come close to having that as a class. That doesn't even. And then ethics, teaching ethics, if you don't have parents that are present with 30% of your kids in group homes and schools that I work at, or your parents are addicted to something or just out there, you need somewhere to get a regulated way of interacting in a society besides your environment and the state that we're in right now.
Loving it. Give me your soundtrack to life.
Right now, it's Chance the Rapper Blessings Part 2.
All right.
All right? Because it's all about, are you ready for your miracle? Are you ready for your blessings? And my man don't charge for his music.
Change the game.
And I'm feeling it. I like that I can still listen to the radio or still listen to music, and my favorite rappers aren't in the past, they're in the future. I love the J. Cole's. I love the Kendrick Lamar's. I love the Chance the Rappers. I'm like 41. I'm like, wow.
But you can still relate to their music.
It's like Rock Kim Part 2.
Exactly.
Poor Righteous Teachers Part 3.
Right.
Brand Nubians Part 1.
Brand Nubians,
and they've evolved to the point where they have built off of what they've done. So I still wake up every day and I can just sit back and vibe the Chance the Rapper like I was this morning before I came here.
Okay.
Counting my blessings, and one of them is being here with you.
I appreciate it. One more question for you. We're all in the game. What would define your legacy?
Relentlessness.
Really?
Relentlessness.
Gotta go hard, huh?
I challenge. You want to out hustle me. Out hustle me.
Let's do it. We could do a challenge.
Yeah, I love it.
Challenge.
Hey, let's out hustle each other. You know what I'm saying?
Style.
Hey, look. If it's dancing, we could do a dance battle. If it's rapping, we can do a rap battle. If it's fun, we can do a fun battle. But relentless. I might get my ass. I'm sorry. I might get beat. Get beat. I'm sorry. I might get beat. But I won't get beat because I didn't try. I tell my students it's okay to fail, but it ain't okay not to try, because everybody will be trying. Like when I make them take tests, like the certification test at the end, a lot of people don't want to take those tests.
Right.
And I get in them, I'll be like, no, guess what, everybody? You're going to be taking it regardless. I'll be tricking them, be like, you're not taking the test today. I'm like, oh, guess what? It's a test today. So yeah, relentless. They ain't gonna stop. They're gonna have to kill me. See, in Baltimore, I have a mentality. I'm like, listen, in Baltimore cats, we don't stop no matter what we do. We have to be stopped. You understand?
Right.
Whatever we do, we're gonna go hard at it.
That goes back to that by any means necessary, huh?
Hey, stop
Make
me.
it happen.
Man, 3 generations ago, I was hanging from mad trees, trust me. And I'm back, and I ain't stopping this time.
So you've been in the hot seat. You have a question for me?
Yes, I do have a question for you.
Give it to me.
How does it feel to be the sun?
You know, it's all about the glowing. My morning ritual is fantastic. I exfoliate. I take really good care of my skin. I'm joking. No, I appreciate the compliment. No. I appreciate the
You don't
compliment.
even know what that means. What does that even mean?
So to wrap up, give me your final word.
My final word, infinity.
That's loaded. Love it.
Because that's how long we live.
Yeah.
And we never die. It's the second rule of Einstein, entropy law, thermodynamics. No matter is created, destroyed, only transfer energy.
Transfers.
So we always been living here forever, and I'm gonna act like it.
Amen to that.
All right, right
It was
on.
a pleasure.
That's what's up.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.